morning, everybody. Good morning. It's Sarah and Miss Ruth. Hi. We're glad to be with you. This is Easter Sunday morning. So we're all dressed up in our pink. Sarah's got a new dress we bought, didn't we? We went in the store and we shopped for this. And it's got a jewel on it with a heart. And we're even going to have a heart in our art today. Did you know that? You did. You're so smart. So anyway, we're all dressed up in our Sunday best. And this is the oldest Christian celebration. It's older than actually Christmas. Easter is the oldest Christian celebration. So we're going to be going over the story once again about Jesus' death on Good Friday, and then he is alive as of 3 days later, which is Easter morning. So we're going to sing our song, Jesus is Alive, because that's what it's all about Easter morning. Here we go. This is an active one. We get to jump and have some fun with it. Ready? Okay. Jump, shout, give a high five. Jesus is alive. Jesus is alive. Jump, shout, give a high five. Jesus is alive today. Jump, shout, give a high five. Jesus is alive. Jesus is alive. Jump, shout, give a high five. Jesus is alive today. It makes me want to sing and smile. It makes me want to spin a while. It makes me want to clap my hands. Jesus is alive. Jump, shout, give a high five. Jesus is alive. Jesus is alive. Jump, shout, give a high five. Jesus is alive today. Jump, shout, give a high five. Jesus is alive. Jesus is alive. Jump, shout, give a high five. Jesus is alive today. Great. That's a fun one, and that's what we want to do. I know some of you have been out having fun already Easter morning. So this is our picture of Jesus and Mary, although she doesn't recognize that is Jesus, because he has risen from the death of Good Friday story, and she is really surprised. But she recognizes his voice, and that's often what we recognize with people, are their voices. Okay. So I just wanted to take us back to last Sunday. We talked about Palm Sunday, and that's when Jesus went into Jerusalem peacefully on a donkey or a colt. And actually on the other side of the temple, Herod was having a big Roman parade at the same time, and he was riding on a war horse. So this showed the opposite way of entering into Jerusalem, into the temple, that Jesus was showing kindness and love. And here's all the people with their palm branches. So that night he met with his disciples in the upper room. They had a final dinner together, and he told them that it was God's plan that he would be killed. Of course, they were not happy to hear that. They were all in shock. They went into the garden with him, the Garden of Gethsemane, and they prayed with him all night. They fell asleep. Jesus did not fall asleep, but the soldiers did come into the garden eventually, and they did take Jesus away. And he was killed on a cross between two other people, and actually after he died, his body was taken to a very special tomb of a friend whose name was Joseph of Arimathea. His body was carefully wrapped, put into the tomb, and a huge rock that no one could move was put in front of this cave, which was the tomb for Jesus. So 3 days later, Mary ran up to the tomb, and she saw that the rock had been rolled away. And when she went inside, there was an angel inside that said to her, Mary, don't be afraid. Jesus isn't here. He has risen from death. He is alive. And she couldn't really quite understand what was going on. She was on her way to get the other disciples to tell them what had happened, that Jesus' body wasn't there. And then she heard some rustling, and in the garden that was around here, the gardens, there was a man, and she thought it was a gardener, and she said to him, "Do you know where they've taken my Lord's body? His body is not in the tomb, and the rock has been rolled away." And he said, don't worry, don't be afraid. And he called her by name. He said, "Mary." He said, and by the way he called her voice, she knew his voice. She knew it was Jesus, and she turned around and talked to him. And that is the picture that we showed you earlier. I also wanted to just read that little bit from here, because I think it's explained so well. "Mary," he said, that was Jesus. She knew that voice. It was Jesus. Mary said, "Teacher." Now she was happy that Jesus is alive, and Jesus said to her, "Go and tell the others." And Mary did. She must have run very fast. "Jesus is alive. I've seen him," she said. Jesus' other friends were so surprised, some of them didn't believe her, but that night Jesus came into the place where his friends were. Jesus' friends were happy to see him. The very sad day when Jesus died had been turned into a very glad day because Jesus is alive. And that's just what our song was about, and that is also our verse today from Matthew 28:7, Jesus is risen. So this is the happiest day in the Christian year, Easter Sunday morning. And that is our story about Easter morning, many, many thousands of years ago, that we still talk about today. So the whole story does go around the cross, and the cross is the symbol of Jesus dying on the cross, but that he rose again. The cross is a symbol of love, that he died for all of us. So that's why we have a little heart that we can put on it. So I gave this activity out to most of the Sunday school kids that look like this when you received it at your homes. So you could cut out either of the crosses. So I cut out the simple one here, and here's the more complicated looking one over here. And I just took a piece of construction paper and I measured it off so that it is a little bit shorter, because I thought that would make too long a box. So this is 10 inches long. So I took that piece off. And then I just folded all of the edges. So I just did a double fold. I just folded it in. I'd say it's about 1 centimeter. So we're talking metric and imperial measurements here today. So there gives you an edge just by doing a double fold, about 1 centimeter, because all the children understand centimeters. So we've got the two edges like that. So we need to make it a box, so we'll do it on the other two ends as well, like this, and over here. Okay, like that. Now, so that the corners can stand up and create a box, you just need to snip that where the fold comes down from the end, both places, like this and like this. And then I just taped the corners with some clear tape. And that's not going to last very long here. So I'm just going to show you what it would be like by taking the corners and going like this. That holds that corner up. Okay, do the same thing over here. And we put this corner up. See how we go. I don't think I cut that one. Let's see. Oh, there it is. Okay. Put this corner up. This corner up. And the fourth corner would be up the same way. Okay. So when you get that done, you end up with a nice little box like that when you tape your corners. I didn't tape all of them. Then I made this have a spring to it. So I just took some of the leftover paper from cutting out the cross, and I just cut two pieces and folded them like an accordion pleat, so back and forth. Easier to do it on the table. Try and fold each one the same number of times so that they will both be at the same height when you put the cross on them. So like this. I did mine 4 times. There we go. And then I put tape on the bottom and tape on the top. Attach it to the cross first. So you're going to attach it to the back in 2 places. I did it in the middle and the bottom. And then you can also cut out a little heart. Now there is a heart on your activity sheet. And I used it on this one. If you need another heart, if there's 2 kids in the family and you're both doing it, or you'd like to do 2 of them, just cut out a little heart out of some red construction paper, and you can glue or tape that on to your heart. And you'll end up with a cross like that to show Jesus' love dying on the cross for us. So I hope you enjoyed that activity, and that you were able to keep that from when I gave it to you at your homes. I just thought I would show you this map just before we go today. And we talked about Jesus entering from the east side. So this is his parade with the palms right in here. And he was taken and ended up talking to Pilate, and Herod over here, ended up back at Pilate. Over here is the where the 3 crosses were, where Jesus died on the cross, and then over here is the tomb. So that's what we talked about today, the tomb of Arimathea, and that is where the stone was rolled away, and Mary came and saw that he was alive. And this is on the road to Emmaus. There's another story where Jesus was talking to 2 of his friends on the road to Emmaus, and once again they didn't recognize him until he started talking, and then they recognized his voice. So over here was the garden where he prayed, the Garden of Gethsemane, and this is the Mount of Olives, and that's where the story will end eventually, where Jesus goes back up to his heavenly Father through that in this area. So everything happens around the temple area in Jerusalem. Okay, so I've got a little special prayer today I've written for you. Easter prayer. Thank you for the sunshine and for the birds that sing and make their nests getting ready for their families. Thank you for those who love us and care for us every day. Thank you for the good news that Jesus is alive. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next Sunday. So bye for now from Miss Ruth.